Welcome to video 2 of my ride along series. This video is about why I bought my Engwe Engine X. Now if you watched the previous video, you'll know this wasn't my first e-bike. My first e-bike was quite a disaster. So after my first disaster I made sure I knew the e-bike laws. The laws are basically your motor's not allowed to be any more powerful than 250 watts. Your throttle has to be disengaged, or if it is engaged it can only do 4 miles an hour basically, which is walking speed. You're allowed a 48 volt battery, and this information has to be shown on the bike. Also, just to clarify, the 15.5 mile an hour limit is not actually the speed limit of your bike. Your bike can go as fast as it wants. It's the speed limit that the motor is allowed to help you, and that motor is only allowed to help you if it's activated by pedals. So basically I'm back to square one, with even less options, because now I know the laws and there's even less available bikes to me because a lot of them are actually not road legal. If I'm honest, I actually found it shocking how hard it is to find a road legal e-bike. Like, in all honesty, even on Amazon and eBay, I was going into descriptions and the information just wasn't there. It was so hard to find out if the bike was restricted, or what power the motor was, or what ampage the battery was. They didn't even say whether they was road legal or not. It just wasn't there. Obviously after the first bike, I wasn't taking any chances. I really wasn't going to buy an e-bike unless I knew it was legal. I'd have just been stupid to. Another problem I still had was I live in an upstairs flat, and carrying a bike up a flight of stairs is pretty hard, so it needed to be something I could carry upstairs. Again, the D-Power X20, it wasn't easy to get up the stairs, but it wasn't overly hard either. It was a good compromise if I'm honest, but that wasn't an option anymore. Also, I still wanted an e-bike that looked like it was a proper e-bike, not like just a normal bike with batteries bolted on. I even looked into the possibility of doing a motorbike test, and going down the road of actually getting a moped or something, but the reason I wanted an e-bike is because I didn't want a license, tax, MOT, insurance. Also, an engine's going to be way harder to get upstairs. I want to leave it outside. So a bike wasn't really an option. Before I sold the X20, I actually looked into the possibility of making it road legal. I thought, if I can make it road legal, I can then ride it at 20 miles an hour, which is the legal limit in Wales. It'd be more fun, and I'd get the same sort of use out of it. But that was actually insane. You had to take it to a specific station or whatever where they could test it and examine it or whatever, and qualify it to be road legal. Again, there's the paperwork. It was just far too complicated. It really was. If I'm honest, I've been looking at the Eskuta SX250 as well for a while. I kind of like them, but at the same time they look like a moped, and I didn't really want to look like I was driving a moped or riding a moped. This is one of the reasons why I bought the X20 in the first place. It looks better, but now that wasn't an option. The e-scooter seemed like the only other possibility. Again, it had the throttle problem solved, because it has that green button where it'll do the 4 mile an hour and then your pedals do the rest. So it's a road legal option. So again, yeah, I watched multiple videos on the SX250. They seem like really good bikes. They have alarms, immobilisers. Again, I really like the alarm and immobiliser. I like the fact that nobody can steal my bike, but they're like 1800 quid. That's a lot of money for an e-bike. It really is a lot of money. I wasn't prepared to pay that, to be honest. So my only option was a second-hand version. So again, back to stalking Facebook Marketplace. I found one on there. Well, actually I found two on there. I found one that was in poor condition. It was like 800 quid plus or something, but for that sort of money I wanted something that was in decent condition, so that wasn't going to be bought. The other one, the description said it basically hardly used it like 20 miles on it or something, so the mileage was really low. It was basically in virtually new condition, but I didn't want to pay a new price. I think he wanted 1500 quid for it. I wasn't going to pay that much. I offered him a cheeky 900, which he turned down. I then offered him 1000, which he again turned down. I then offered him 1100, and he just never got back to me. So I was waiting and waiting and waiting. Now, another problem with the e-scooter was it was an orange and black, and I don't like that colour combination. Like, I was going to buy it because it was in new condition and I'd talked myself into it, but I'd rather had like the all black one or the grey and black one. But beggars can't be choosers, and they don't really come up on Facebook Marketplace too often. While I was waiting for the guy to get back to me, he'd also said that he was selling it because there was an old guy who had bought it and he lived in a quite hilly area. He wanted the e-bike to go up and down the hills like quite easily, and he wasn't doing that. So at that point I became aware that it was not really suitable for really hilly places. Now the thing is, I live in quite a flat area, so the hill problem wasn't really an issue for me. But again, for something that price, you kind of wanted to do a bit of everything. So again, I'd been watching YouTube videos and I started watching more and more and more on the e-scooter. Now watching these YouTube videos, again, I actually really like the bike. It does seem like it has a lot of good things going for it, but the big downside seemed to be the battery life. Basically they were saying that the battery dies within about 20 miles of use. Now when you're talking 6-7 hours to charge a battery and you're only getting 20 miles per charge, that doesn't really seem like a good compromise to me, especially not for the kind of prices these things are going for. They're expensive. So yeah, basically the reviews put me off the e-scooter. That 20 mile distance was just a killer. It really put me off it. That and the fact that it was orange and black, I didn't like. Also, I'd not really worked out I was going to carry it up and down stairs, so yeah, I'd gone off it. So I'd basically been seeing the adverts for Engwe on Facebook. I clicked the link, had a look on the site, and was looking at the EP2 Pro, to be honest. I'm not sure I fully liked it at first. I wasn't sure about the handlebars, they were a bit weird. But I think it grew on me, to be honest. So ideally I wanted a second hand one, because why not pay less if you can, right? I looked on Facebook Marketplace. I'd been watching that for a while, I'd not seen any. If I'm honest as well, after owning the X20, they are quite useful bikes. Like I would have got a whole lot more if it was legal. So I really wanted one, and like it was doing me in not having one. Yeah, so I had the money. I was just being tight, if I'm honest, as you do. Yeah, so I was getting impatient. I kept looking on the Engwe website. Originally I was looking on the EU website. Basically, I don't know how much it was in euros, but it worked out about 850 quid if you bought it off that website. The UK one was 950 quid. But I'm always dubious, so I messaged Engwe and I was like, why is it 100 quid more expensive for the UK one? and it turned out it was import tax. Engwe basically said that I couldn't buy it off the EU website. I felt a bit hard done by, if I'm honest, because we had to pay £100 more than the rest of Europe. But again, it's not Engwe's fault, it's Brexit and the UK government and their mess up really. So I ummed and ahed. I kept looking at the website. The guy still hadn't got back to me about my £1,100 offer, which I didn't actually want to pay anymore. I'd have been looking at about £950, £1,000 at most at that point. I convinced myself to buy the EP2 Pro. But then the little voice in my head was like, for an extra £100 you can have a rear suspension on the Engine X. And it did make sense. I mean, if you're going to spend £1,000 on a bike, why not spend £1,050 and get more for your money? I also considered the Engine Pro, but there wasn't a 250 watt version of that, so it wasn't road legal, and I didn't really want to get into that scenario again. I was still concerned about the battery life. I'd realised I wasn't going to get anywhere near what they said I was going to get. There was on the Engwe website a rear rack battery. It was about £400. But when I looked into that properly, it was actually a silly option. The reasons it was a silly option was because firstly, it had a light in it, but it was just a light. Now the rear light on the Engine X is actually a brake light as well. With the rear rack, it's just a light, as I said. So basically you're losing the brake light ability. Also, it wires into the controller as like a separate battery with an equaliser. So if you turn on the rear rack battery, you can power the bike through that or the main battery, but because you can do that, it means the key in the actual main battery that turns your battery off and means you can't use it is useless, because you can just power the bike off the rear battery without the key anywhere. So for £400 you gain more range, but your bike's easier to nick and you haven't got a brake light anymore. So yeah, I didn't fancy that, to be honest. So in the end, I bought the Engine X. I kind of wanted the black version. I do like black a lot. I tend to wear black a lot. But there wasn't any black in stock, so I bought the white one. Now I like the white one, don't get me wrong, but I think I would have preferred to buy the black. I should have waited. Now honestly, it still feels like that was my only option. Obviously EP2 Pro, but I wanted a bit of suspension, so Engwe seemed my only option, and I still honestly don't know anything else I could have bought for the same sort of money that was as good a bike. Maybe you do, maybe you can let me know in the comments. But yeah, that's what I bought. Now I suppose you're going to want to know if I like the Engine X, or dislike it, or like what I think of it. But I'm not going to tell you. If you want to know that, you'll have to watch the Engine X review on my page. So again, if you've got this far, thank you again for watching. Like, follow and share please. And again, I'll see you in the next one.